Has anyone ever walked out there before? Longer than to fix a pipe, I mean, just walked. No.
Don't worry, Jessica Henwick. You're about to change that real soon. Alright, peace everybody. Welcome back to the channel. It's the Reaction Overlord. We're back with another video. Alright, so today we're going to be reviewing the movie Underwater, which came out January 10th, 2020, from the producer William Eubank, starring Kristen Stewart, Jessica Henwick, and the always funny T.J. Miller. Now, like I said, this movie was released January 10th, 2020, and if anyone knows about Hollywood, that's the month when Hollywood likes to dump their unusable movies. So they figured they'll dump their movies that people really not going to see in the month of January. So people was going into seeing it without really thinking much of it. So I checked it out on DVD. I actually bought it on Redbox.
Nigga, what?
Redbox. Funny, right? We don't use those no more. But I bought it on Redbox, and watching it, the first few minutes going into it, it started off real good. It started off with lots of explosions. It was tight corners. It kind of reminded you of the movie Abyss, mixed in with, of course, Alien, and Kristen Stewart was kind of like the Sigourney Weaver of the movie, but it was real good. Now, T.J. Miller, he was T.J. Miller in the movie himself, pretty much, because he was the comic relief, but it fit. Everything fit with the story. They didn't know what was going on. Like I said, it was an explosion. So they was trying to get from A to B, and they were at the bottom of the Mariana Trench. It was hard for them to get to the surface. So they pretty much had to go down to the ocean floor and walk miles across the ocean floor to get to an abandoned station to use their leftover escape pods to try to get to the surface. But of course, they were met with a whole lot of obstacles, and those obstacles were sea creatures that was going at them. And it was cool because the cinematography was good. You couldn't really see what was after them. It was always in the shadows, and of course they're in the ocean floor, so there's not much light down there, so everything was like dark and dim, and it fit. If they try to do that because this movie was kind of low budget, then everything worked for the movie. But the creatures was kind of picking people off one by one. First, the dude, he exploded or imploded when the pressure hit his faulty mask.
Keep the door closed! Get that door closed!
Which he knew his mask was faulty, so he gave the good helmet to Kristen Stewart. He took the faulty one and he imploded. Then I think T.J. Miller, I think he was the next one to go, and that was crazy how he went. Like, they poured him through the suit, and it's expected because if your creatures living at the bottom of the ocean floor with all that pressure, and you can move around and swim that fast, granted, you got to be strong because metal and all that stuff bend and break down there. So they able to swim and move around and maneuver real quick down there. So of course they can be strong.
Ripped him out of his suit. It ripped him right out of his goddamn suit. What could do that?
And the captain, they got him up out of there, and it was only like Kristen Stewart, Jessica Henwick, and John Gallagher left, who name was Smith on the movie, and Smith and Jessica Henwick's character, Emily, they were like a couple. So it was important for them to try to stay alive together because, they were a couple, whatever. But it got real good towards the end when you find out that the creatures were part of something real bigger. And that thing was the actual monster that was causing the explosion to the whole station, the habitat where they were at in the first place. And it was a big behemoth monster who turned out to be the one and only old one in the Lovecraft stories, Cthulhu. And the director of the movie, he even admitted himself in the interview that the monster was indeed Cthulhu. So I like that. That was a real good twist in the movie, and it was a good reveal because now it just added more to the story, and it lets you see that everything that was happening in the beginning, like the noises that they was hearing out on the ocean floor and over the comms, over the radio comms, that was the noises actually coming from Cthulhu himself. And those explosions was actually caused by Cthulhu. But Cthulhu, he was, smashing the station, and they got to the abandoned station, and it was 3 of them left, but it was only 2 pods that was active working. So Kristen Stewart, she told Smith, who was injured, they put him inside the pod first and sent him up first. And then Kristen Stewart and Jessica Henwick, they were like going back and forth arguing to see who's going to go on the last pod, because Emily, Jessica Henwick's character, she didn't want to leave Kristen Stewart's character. But Kristen Stewart, she punched her and made her get in the pod anyway, and said that, I would do anything to see my boyfriend again, because throughout the story, it was mentioned that Kristen Stewart had a boyfriend and he had died, and that was his world. That was her world, them two together. So she didn't want Smith and Emily to be apart. So she sacrificed herself for them two to go in the pods and go up together. But as they were escaping, the creatures, they were heading up to the pods to them, and they were about to get them. So what Kristen Stewart did was she set the core reactor on overload, and she exploded the whole habitat, which the perimeter got the creatures and just missed the pods. And it supposedly killed all the creatures and Cthulhu himself. You can see him trying to escape at the end, but he get caught in the blast, and then it's immediately going off with cover-up documentations on what really happened down there and the 2 survivors. And TN Industries, which was the corporation that they all worked for, that was control of the whole habitat in the first place. They do something about what was going down there, so you can see them covering up the whole thing, and they saying that they're going to immediately start rebuilding the habitats and finish the drilling station. So we could possibly see a part 2 to that. Now, it's been 2 years since that movie came out, going on 3 years, but I think that movie could end up being a cult classic because it wasn't meant to be that good. And every time I see a video of someone mentioning that movie or reviewing it, they always say how surprisingly good the movie was. And I'm one of those people as well, especially, going into it, I see it's confined spaces and look like dark and gloomy and creatures heading at them. That's right up my alley. I gotta see that. I gotta see what's going on with that. So, and it didn't disappoint. And with that whole Cthulhu twist at the end, it was good. But if you haven't checked out the movie, check it out yourselves. It's all online. Y'all can go check it out on your apps. It's on Roku channel right now. You can rent it on Amazon Prime. I got the DVD, but I don't even got it on DVD player no more. But it's somewhere you can watch it online. But check it out and let me know what y'all think. Drop your comments down below. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification icon. I'll see you at the next one. Peace.